get out the way of the chairman. Get out the way of the chairman.
Hello, welcome to the library.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. This is Matt, librarian from Harlem.
How are you, Jerome? Thank you for having me. Bill? Bill?
Up this way.
Hello, folks. Hello, sir.
You, Washington. Thank you.
I like that.
Carnegie Branch Library.
I like it. He's my dear friend. Did you know that?
No, know that.
Hello. Hi. Nice to see you.
Same here. Very
One of the teachers, my class is over here.
Good for you. How long have you been doing this?
I have, I'm just starting in this
Really?
particular program. I was teaching English as a second language.
Hello.
But this is a new thing for me to work with native language.
And do you have a specific set of materials that you work with everybody on?
No, we work, our approach is to try to have people use, one of the wonderful things about the library is that they have a whole library. Instead of saying to people, we think that everybody should look at this particular story now, the idea we feel is it's very important that people discover what is out there.
What's your name? Raymond. It's nice to meet you. Hello, Blanca.
James.
Hi, James.
Lee, you have my vote.
Thank you. I wish you were protecting me.
Oh, great.
Big, strong man. Hi.
Sam.
It's nice to meet you. Hello. Bleak. Here, shake hands with
Tell him I
me.
hope he can
I
help
like you,
us
sir.
someday. Be really fair and better than all the presidents we ever had.
Yes.
Every president we had always promised us so much, and we always end up the poor people get stepped right over us, and go right to the top and forget all about us. And especially the education, especially the children, is the foundation. Like you're building a big apartment building, you need the foundation to be built right for that building to hold on forever. The foundation is the education to the children of all people, and justice for all.
I believe that.
I hope so.
I believe
hope you
that.
can come through for us on that. I hope so.
Shall we sit down and visit? Let me say hello to these other folks. She gave a good speech, didn't she? What's your name?
Vanessa Turner.
Good to see you. What's your name?
Regina.
Hello, Regina. How are you? What's your name?
Chris Stanfield.
It's nice to meet you. Hello.
Sandra Alamo.
It's nice to meet you. So what are we going to do? Let's sit down and talk a little over here. Can we do that? You want to?
Well, I wonder if we should try to make a...
Yeah, come on. You want to come over here?
Yeah.
Come on, sit over here if you want. It's nice to see you.
You got any pool in City Hall?
Not yet, but I'm trying to get some. Not yet.
And I feel that what you've done in Arkansas, you can do well nationally. And I really feel that, I hope that many people who are of my economic situation see you as somewhat of a savior in the educational field, and that you'll be able to, as she was saying, put forth an agenda that will help us bring forth the type of students and leaders that we need in our country. And I feel that you can bring forth the programs that will help us move on and do better in the future.
you know, I would like to ask you all some questions or let all of you talk to me, but let me just, in following up on what he said, let me make a comment or two. I think that you deserve a president who will make this country strong again, who will provide the opportunity for you to make a decent living and provide the opportunity for you to get a good education. But I think we all have to be honest with ourselves that no matter who the president is and no matter what the opportunities are, if you don't take advantage of them, nothing good can happen to you. And the reason I came here today, I want to tell you really up front, is that I care a lot about these adult education programs. I believe that if we could teach everybody in America who is working age to read well and give everybody in America a chance to get a GED, a high school diploma, that we could do a great deal in a short time to help people get better jobs and raise their incomes. Now, one of the real problems is a lot of people won't do what you're doing. A lot of people, see, he and I, we have a little gray hair. A lot of people get a little gray hair. They say, oh, I don't want to go back and learn anything, or I don't want to have to admit that I can't read as well as I should, or I don't want to do this. And you have had a lot of courage, I think. You've been good to yourselves, good to your families, and good for your country by coming here and sort of stepping out like you are. And I hope that by my coming here, not only can I say, hey, if you elect me president, I'll try to provide enough funds so that you don't have a waiting list in New York to get in this program. But you also have to have people come forward. I bet every one of you knows someone who ought to be in this room today. Don't you? Tell the truth now. Every one of you know somebody that ought to be in this room today. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I think that I believe, going back to what she said, the great speech she gave at the beginning, that I think that all children can learn. I think this kid here can do things that he can't even dream of now. And I think that all of you have more capacity to learn than most people think you do. But all we can do is put the opportunity out there and reach out to you. Then you got to seize it. And one of the things that I'd like for you to talk to me about is today, I want to stop talking and listen a while. I'd like for you to tell me why you decided to come here and what we could do to get more people to take advantage of these programs. Anybody had? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's my name. You said why we come here? Well, I came here to I want to learn how to spell better and to read more fluently. And I would like to get a better job than what I, could possibly get now. For my children's sake also. I found out that we were all victims of society. And we ran into like blocks in the road where minorities never got a chance to push on. The schools wasn't that great. The teachers were scared to go into the schools because of the financial problems and the lack of education that we did have. So anybody would do what they had to do to be, to strive to get more, no matter if it was the right way or the wrong way. But for me, myself, I'm just pushing on to strive to become better. And, yeah.
Combination of people working, trying to keep a job, to have a job.
No, but that's not.
Embarrassed, all combination with a little bit of everything.
Right.
What about you? Someone I hadn't talked. You got anything?
Well, go ahead. I came to learn more about reading and writing and to help my kids. I want to be able to help them when they come home from school and say, Mommy, what's this here? I want to be able to sit down with them and share the reading and writing and everything and get a good job.
Good for you. Good for you. Let me tell you something. This is a very important point. Too many people in our country believe how much children learn in school depends on the IQ they were born with, how smart they are, and whether their parents have any money. All over the world, there are children being educated today. They're going to compete with him for the jobs of tomorrow. They're raised to believe how well they do in school depends on how hard they work and whether their parents encourage them. So that's the best reason of all for you to be here. That's a wonderful thing. What about anybody else want to talk?
Oh, I've been to this program 4 years, and I learned when I first came, I didn't know how to read and spell and write and do math. I know that, and I got used to it, and then I am learning quicker by watching the teacher reading, and then he tells to repeat after him. Everybody read, and all of a sudden my reading started to develop, and my writing. Okay, it's only 2.
You write much better than I do. I can't read my own writing. Would you do that? You wrote this in September?
Yes, I wrote in September. I'm putting it in a journal next year. I'm putting it
Christine is a very inspiring teacher.
Yes.
Actually, we have a student who has a piece in the journal. Gina has a piece in the journal. And we have a student, Sandra, who has a piece in the journal. And she would love to give her an opportunity to read the piece.
Can we do that?
It's very short.
Let's do it.
To the point. All right, let's do it.
Where is she? Come on, don't be embarrassed.
I did not want no other what's that? M is MONE. None.
Good.
The things we need is more money, and I want to learn how a better job, and I think that a better
Tori, you know how people used to think, well, most of you probably aren't as old as I am, but mostly people were raised to believe that they would grow up and they would get a job, and they would do that job. But now, the average person changes work about 8 times in a lifetime. You either have to work for somebody new, or even if you keep working for the same person, because the world is changing so fast, what you do still changes. That's why it's more important than ever before to learn to read, because reading is the thing which enables you to learn new things. Because no matter how smart any of us are, nobody knows everything in all these books, right? So the thing that reading does is it gives you the power to learn something new every day. So that no matter what you do, if somebody says, well, you got to change it if you want to keep your job, then you can learn something new. And in the world we're living in, what you earn depends on what you can learn. So if you can't read and you can't learn, it drives your ability to earn down. That's why it's important that you help your child, because when your child or your children grow up, it'll be even more like that. What about you? When did you come here?
Well, I get here just to hear what you have to say and to hear what everybody, the piece that everybody's putting in.
He means how come you came to the program?
Yes, and I can do some reading, but I need to advance more. So I attended the class that before them at the library. I need to do more spellings. I need to know more something about the computer, reading, and etc.
And do you get to work on the computers here? That's good.
Yeah, James is doing
Go ahead.
If you become the future president, what will you do for us?
Well, I will try to do 2 things. I mean, many things, but 2 things especially. I will try to get our country's economy growing again so that there are more jobs and so that the people who work can earn more money. But I will also try to make sure that every American citizen without regard to race or where they live, will have the chance to be in education programs so that they can learn to do well in the world we're living in.
Because I'm a mother and of 3. I'm on welfare. I'm trying to look for a job. Everywhere I go, they say that I need a GED. Without the GED, I can't get the job. So I'm in the Fordham Library program, learning how to read,
Good for
how
you.
to write, and so that I could help my children too when they grow up. And I can't find a job without a GED.
That's right.
And with all these cuts,
The welfare check and then get the GED. Then when you get off, there's a good chance you'll get a job you can keep that will pay enough for you to support your children.
they said when your kids get like 6 years old, then you have to be off of the welfare. Then what if you don't get the GED by
No,
then?
that's not true.
No.
That's not true.
They just,
You sign some paper.
No.
they send you to look for work. When your kids get 6 years old,
Yeah,
they send
you have to, no, that's different. It's GED program. If you're really making good progress and not just using it as an excuse not to go to work, you should finish the GED program. Because if you do that, you'll be able to make better wages. Very good, and you don't keep it very long, and before you know it, you're back on welfare. So the whole idea of what I think we should do with welfare is to get everybody on welfare to get a GED, and then make it possible for them even to get more job training, and then say, you got to go to work now. You see what I mean? So, because if you don't have any education, then maybe you can get some job at minimum wage, but the chances are you'll lose it in 4 or 5 months. So it's very important for you to stay in the education program.
Thank you.
Especially today, there's no jobs anyway, so the education is going to help.
Yeah.
There's no jobs, you see, the education is going to help. I would like to say the reason I came back, I came to school. I came from a country where girls didn't go to school at that time, not today, thank God. But when I had my boys and I started wanting to help them with school, like my son, older, in the first grade, I really felt bad because I couldn't help him. It was his first grade with his homework. I wasn't able to help him. I said, my God, I really help the world if I could.
Well, let me ask you this. How can we get more people in these programs?
That's a hard question.
I know there's not the money now. People at the library tell me there are lots of people like you who want to get in the program.
There's waiting
There's
list.
not enough money to take care of them.
There's a waiting list.
But suppose we, for the moment, we got enough money to do away with the waiting list. And we had enough classes for everybody. How could we get even more people in? What's the most effective thing we could do to get more people to want to do this?
Guarantee you a job at graduation.
No. Advertise, have an advertisement on television, maybe have a program.
To read. That's how I found out about it with Famous Amos. And I kept calling that number, and they gave me number after number after number after number until I finally found this, and I wanted it just that bad. So I mean, you can't make people want something. If they want it, then you can't give it to them. That's how I feel.
So how can we get more of them to want it?
You can't make somebody
You
want
can't make
something.
them do it.
They have to want it
I agree
within
with that.
themselves. And by seeing, okay, people may know me personally, and they may see, well, gosh, she's doing a lot better. What's she doing? I want what she got. And they may ask me, and I may tell them. And then the word spreads, and then it goes on and on and on. You know how people, they say,
Well, let me
pass
ask
the word.
you, should we require everybody to get an education who's on welfare?
Yes, I think so, because if you get a GED,
I think so too.
if you get a GED, you could get a better job.
You have a lot of people on welfare, they love being on welfare.
Yes, that's
And they don't want to do nothing.
Then you have crime going up. Then when you're forced to do something, then the crime rate will go up because people refuse to do things if they're told to do it. They have to want to do this. This is where that comes in again.
That's what I was saying. You have a lot of people out there who like to stay home, their kids is in school, and they like to stay home and they like to wait for their check. You have a lot of women out there who do that.
Need help.
But if they're going to draw the check, shouldn't they at least be getting the education?
That's what I'm
so
saying,
that
they should, yeah, they should, but some of them don't like it. Some of them like staying on
Let
watching
me ask you
stories
this,
and
if we
stuff.
publicize
And-
people like you more,
sitting
If we
back.
gave you more publicity in this, do you think more people like you would want to be in these programs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we said, look at this woman, look at this man, look at this
Yeah.
woman.
If you could do it, they could do it too.
Yeah,
That's right.
Let me ask you something else. You said you were in a drug treatment center.
Yeah.
What if we said, let's say someone gets picked up on a minor drug charge, and they want to be put on probation, they don't want to go to jail. And they dropped out of school at the 7th grade, and they don't read at all. What if we say, if you want to be on probation instead of going to jail, you got to go to school?
Wonderful idea.
Would you support, same as welfare, would you support that? You want to stay out of jail, go to school so you can make a living and stay out of jail.
That should help.
All of that energy I had to motivate it into something more positive, like reading a book or driving to go for a better job or getting into other programs maybe to help people with AIDS or handicap or something like that.
You'd like to do that?
I wouldn't mind doing that kind of work. Sure, why not? It's a type of work that is needed.
Good for you.
Helping handicapped people, people with AIDS. Because a lot of people don't understand these things. And with the education, if they properly educated, they will see there's nothing really to fear about helping people like that. So I think people should be motivated to get their education so they can understand problems a little bit better and see there's nothing to be scared of, that you can live life without a whole lot of fear, without a lot of difficulty, without medicating yourself, you know,
Let me ask
and
you.
making things difficult for yourself.
Let me ask you another question. Why do you think so many people who live in this neighborhood don't vote?
They don't see no reality, they don't see no change.
So in other words, it wouldn't make any difference.
No, that's why they don't know.
They don't feel any difference gonna become through out of it.
But do you think if somebody, let me ask you this, do you think if someone like me running for president would spend more time with people like you talking about issues like this, more people would vote?
Yeah, that's a good possibility
And
of
you
that.
guarantee us you'll be better than all the other presidents?
I can guarantee you that I care more about this than anybody else that will ever
That's
run
a
for
definitely,
president.
because they made us feel that they don't, that, once you know, like most people don't care about minorities and people that's in the ghetto, they don't care. So they
See,
tend not to vote because they figure that their vote won't make
Let me tell you why I care about it. I mean, apart from the fact that I think it's the right thing to do, let me tell you why I care. It is the right thing to do. But also, 70% of the jobs, 7 out of every 10 jobs in the next 10 years are going to be filled by women and members of racial minorities. What does that mean? That means if you don't have a good education and you can't do these jobs and you're out here drawing a check instead of making a payroll.
With 2 kids, right? I've been out there looking for an apartment over 5 years. You understand me? Every place is either too crowded or if they're not accepting me right now, I'm on a waiting list. You understand? And I think that's really unfair. But it's either overcrowded with one minority or it's overcrowded with the other, or you're not making enough, so we can't let you in here.
That's because your country stopped spending money on public housing and wastes too much of the money that we spend. I mean, if the program doesn't work and it's inadequate. And I agree, we got to give health care for everybody at an affordable cost. Go back to having adequate public housing again. Or housing that is financed by the government. It might not be public housing. And give you, let me just give you one example, okay? My state is much smaller than New York. Much smaller. But when I became governor of my state in 1983, we had only about, a little over 14,000 people doing what you're doing today in these adult education programs. 8 years later, we have over 50,000 people. 2 years from now, because of the money we put in it and the way we did it, we'll have 70,000 people doing it. So yeah, I care about it. This is not some deal I just decided to do because I wanted to run for president. I've been working on this this issue. How do you get people who are grown up back into school so they can help educate their children and help themselves get a job? This is something I've been working on for 10 years, hard. Because I know that there's a limit to what I can do as a politician unless people themselves have power. There's 250 million people in this country and only one president, right? The president's got a big job. The president's job is to create opportunity. But there's 250 million other people out there. And they have jobs, and they have dignity, and they have potential. And so, yeah, I care about this because I see this as a way of making you so strong in your own life that you'll be able to make your own way, and it'll help you if you got a good president. But whatever happens, your life will be better. I care about it. This is not some new deal to me. I didn't just cook this up because I was running for president. I have paid a long time price to try to get thousands and thousands and thousands of people like you in the programs like this. Every year at home I go to graduation where the people getting high school diplomas between 18 and 80, and I stand there and shake hands with people who come from all over the world whose first language wasn't English, people who got pregnant when they were 15 and dropped out of school, people who got on drugs and put their lives back together, people who just didn't understand how important education was, every year. Because I know that if I can give them a chance to get that kind of education, they don't have to worry so much about me anymore. They're in control of their own lives.
Well, programs like this is good for now, but hopefully for the future we won't need programs like this. That
we stop kids from dropping out in the first place.
School system will be better educated. So these
Absolutely.
but for now, they are very good.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. How many of you were in school and got promoted from one grade to the next, even though you couldn't read?
Right here.
How far did you go in school?
I graduated.
How far did you go?
11th grade.
You? You?
11th.
You?
I was from the 9th grade, but I had dropped out. But like you said, that
They gave me a certificate for attendance. So I attended school for 12 years.
What about the rest of you? What should have done? What should they have done?
I'm having this problem with my...
But you're making a good point. If they put the kids in the special class, they get more money than they do if they do it right the first time, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've spent 10 years of my life working with people just like you in my state. I care more about these education issues than anybody that's ever run for this job. And I've spent more time working on it. And I won't let you down. But remember, you all got here because of you. And if I give more opportunity, you got to convince more of your friends and neighbors to exercise more responsibility, to take this advantage. Go ahead. Thank you. They were good, weren't they? I hope you find this rewarding. You're terrific. You ought to run for office. Don't you think so? Yes. Run for office and shake them up at City Hall. Thank you. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will. Thank you for telling me that. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish you luck.
Bless you.
I hope you make it.
You're a good man.
Thank you.
You're a good man. You hang in there.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you for what you said. Thank you. Let me tell you, I helped write that law. The way the law is supposed to work is that as long as you're in a GED and you do it on time, you should be able to stay and get that. Then you would have to go to work if you could get a job.
Well, I'm trying.
But you try hard to stay, because then you can get a good job you can keep. And if you quit now and do it before you get the GED, it's not a good thing for you.
No, I wouldn't quit because I didn't know how to sign my name. Now I can write, I can read, but all I want is the GED now.
Good for you. Don't quit.
No, I wouldn't quit, I promise.
You'll make it. You're terrific. Thank you for what you said. Thanks. Thanks again. Hey, thank you. How long have you been here doing this?
3 years.
The problem we have is that while welfare people who know they're down and they want to get up will take advantage of it, we've had some really serious problems in getting people who are in the workforce who can't read to come back and do it. That's why I kept asking those questions, because a lot of people who have jobs think somehow it embarrasses them to admit that they need to learn to read. That's what I was trying to do.
But maybe they don't need to learn how to read if they do have a job. I mean, we're no longer an industrial nation, but maybe that's not important to them in that case.
But I think it's very important to their long-term stability and income.
Well, I think that it's in terms of their development as a human being too. Certainly it's important.
I mean, these people, people feel so much better about themselves when they can do this.
Certainly.
So the only point I was making is that's why I asked me. All I can do is go on my experience. In our experience, when we have, literally increased by 6 times, my state have people like this lady.
Well, actually, I have relatives in Arkansas who either on my father's side, and I don't believe that they know how to read and write very well.
Really?
They have, they were able to always have a job. And, I don't really think that it's part of their consciousness, but maybe it is now.
But more and more they don't. And so what I've been trying to do is to get the people who have jobs but have time, they're worried about losing them. And they can make more money if they learn to read and got their GED to do it. It's raising the willingness of the people in the workplace, but in the marginal jobs to do it, is by and large a bigger problem than getting people like this lady who came forward from the drug treatment center.
Well, then we weren't understanding that, because you weren't giving us that whole total.
Well, that's because I asked. The reason I asked before I came up here, they said there's about 50-50 people who are working and people who aren't, which is what I was trying to draw out the people who had jobs, because that's where our problem is. We have enough money now. We have virtually no waiting list of anybody who comes from probation, from a drug treatment center, from a welfare program. We have 50 or so to learn this. That's what I was trying to get at.
At least I didn't understand it.
Thank you. You did a good job. And you wrote it in English well. How long have you been doing this?
I've been here for 2 years.
Keep coming, okay? You're terrific. Thanks. You're a lovely woman.
All right.
She did a good job. We should give her a hand for writing it, shouldn't we? She was great. Keep doing it, huh? Thanks.
This is my first year in this library.
Good.
I came in September 17th.
You are, aren't you? You take care of those kids. I was moved by what you said.
Okay.
You're a good woman.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. I will. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. They were terrific.
I think they really.
Oh, I hope they enjoyed it.
Made a real
Thanks.
impression having you to talk to and kind
Thank
of
you.
debate.
Welfare, or people in drug treatment programs, they want to do this. Our big problem is getting people in marginal jobs to come back into the program, to see that they could really do better. So we started going out into the workplace of libraries and see how many of even the small rural libraries are doing this, because we only have enough teachers to go into workplaces, let's say with 100 employees or more. So maybe what we could do, if we shifted this program from where it's now being taught to do some more in the library.
To being in this position, and people are very aware of that stigma, and people hide, people go to great lengths to cover the fact that they're in this position. And when you open up a library system, which basically is used by the educated, if I'm coming into a library to a literacy program, who's going to assume I'm going there to improve my reading and writing skills? It's assumed I have those skills. Therefore, I have gone in to utilize the materials in this system. So it provides a sort of a setting where people can be very comfortable and not be concerned.